Hey, hey, hey. It's time for the show. I am rested. I feel good. I sound terrible. I promise I feel much better. Coffee. Three, two, one. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Today is Thursday, March 12th, 2020. My name is Jeremy, and this is my first cup of coffee. Coffee's the best. Well, I'm that much less sick, but sound that much worse. I know. And I've been sneezing a bunch this morning, so my eyes are all bloodshot. But I feel fine. I slept great. Slept like a rock. Woke up, felt good, ready for the day. No, unfortunately, the day has a little bit of a. It's not an emergency, but something I got to do right after first cup. Um, Somehow, I messed up episode 483. So there's no 483 right now. So I got to figure out what's going on with that and either very quickly record and post an episode or something because I got to have episodes, right? It's been 2 years since we last didn't have an episode. And I vowed I would never let it happen again. Actually, I didn't vow that. I said, I don't want that to happen again. That's all. When you vow something, it seems like it's such a big deal. Like I vow to not eat anteaters. That I can vow. Yeah. Well, yesterday. Yesterday was a reasonably productive day. Got through some important stuff, some good stuff. Spent a lot of time in the books yesterday, and things are getting better all around. And it's a nice thing to see. I don't know if you've ever been. Let's just call it what it is, broke. I don't know if you've ever had difficult financial times, but knowing that there's a way forward, knowing that you're on that path, seeing numbers move in the right direction instead of the wrong direction, it's pretty motivating. Um, let's see. What else was yesterday? Coached some CrossFit. Came home, cooked some great food. Not a lot to report on the day. It was a day. And it was a good one. Yeah. Today's gonna be a bunch of the same. I've got a interview to record this morning. There was somebody that couldn't do Tuesday, so we made an exception. I've got a client to go see, and then hopefully I'm gonna do some exercise, be physical. Learned that the competition this weekend that Team Whistlekick was going to attend has been canceled. Or I shouldn't cancel. It's been postponed to a to be determined time. In the end, the tournament promoters announced that they didn't even have a choice, that the school wasn't gonna let them come in. So out of their hands. So that's a bummer. There's a lot of people who are disappointed, and I understand. I'm disappointed. But you got to work with what you got, right? And if the entire climate of this illness is I don't know. I go back and forth between feeling like it's people are being overly dramatic about it and then feeling like they're not. And I guess only time will tell. This is one of those things that if it peters out and, it proves to be minor, people will say it was overblown. Um, if it doesn't, then the people who were saying it was overblown will look foolish. We act like we know. We don't know. It's like everything else. Everyone has an opinion and likes to pretend that that opinion is qualified. It's not. Some things it might be. Social media, shows like this. I mean, I don't pretend that if I was to express an opinion, it might carry more weight in your lives than someone you didn't know, or someone that you knew less, someone who didn't have their own YouTube show. But at the end, my opinion on nearly everything is irrelevant, or should be irrelevant. If I was to sit up here and say, well, the way to stop the coronavirus, blah, 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 doesn't, I'm not, I don't have a PhD in epidemiology or anything remotely qualified to state that opinion. Just listen to me about martial arts. Or rather, consider what I say when I talk about martial arts. The rest of it, just ignore. I know, I sound wonderful, don't I? Anything else today? No? That's where we're at. So I'm gonna look at these questions here. We got some questions, some comments. If you want to ask those or make those, drop them below. Today we have 3 quotes from Margaret Thatcher. Watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, for they become actions. Watch your actions, for they become habits. Watch your habits, for they become your character. And watch your character, for it becomes your destiny. What we think, we become. My father always said that, and I think I'm fine. Thoughts matter, words matter. When I coach people, whether it's martial arts or business, I'm getting them. I'm often working with people to change their language, to shift it to something more positive, to shift it to something more capable. To express confidence in those words, because when you say those words, you still hear them. And it becomes this feedback loop. You're reinforcing your own thoughts with your own words. And sometimes we do it out of humility. But no, if you're doing something great, accept that you're doing something great. Maybe you don't have to brag, but you can still state pride. You can still be honest about that. One of the things that I do every morning, I've got, about a third of a page of text of, call it a mantra. Words that I read out loud to myself every day. There's some goals on there. There's some ways I want to be. And I've written them from the future, future tense. And I write them as if the goals were already accomplished, because I'm looking back. And that's felt really good. And I think that lines up here. Words, thoughts become words, words become... All right, read it again. Thoughts become words, become actions, become habits, become character, become destiny. We will stand on principle, or we will not stand at all. I've heard the same sentiment expressed as, if you can't find something to live for, find something to die for. This sentiment's been expressed many times, and seems to follow the first quote. You have to have something to base your life on, some kind of code of ethics, principles. There are principles throughout martial arts, principles that guide technique, principles that guide training, that guide competition, and this is a difficult subject to wrap my brain around this early in the morning. When everyone understands the principles, it becomes easier to engage with them. It's rules of engagement for training, right? Everyone has principles, but they don't always realize what they are, and sometimes they're not. Principles aren't always ethical and positive. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say on principles. Like, I'm gonna blame the coffee for not having kicked in yet. Disciplining yourself to do what you know is right and important, although difficult, is the high road to pride, self-esteem, and personal satisfaction. Man, Frank gave me some hard ones. All right, let me read that one again. Disciplining yourself to do what you know is right and important, although difficult, is the high road to pride, self-esteem, and personal satisfaction. Anybody can do the right thing when it's easy. Running people over with your car, making sure your children are fed. These are obvious and easy things. But what about when the right thing is hard? When the right thing will cost you friends, or promotion, or money? What about when you bump somebody's car in the parking lot and there's nobody around to see it? You know the right thing to do is leave a note with your contact info. How many people don't? How many people choose to do the selfish, the wrong thing because it's easier? Quite a few. The right thing is the right thing for a reason. There's a reason we call it that. Because somewhere at some low level, we all know what it is. I would suggest that the majority of people out there who violate commonly held ethical beliefs, like robbery, I suspect that the vast majority of those people who commit robbery, most of them don't think it's right. They may justify it to themselves in some way, but if you were to, say, put them on a therapist's couch and get them to talk, really be honest, I think they'd admit that it was wrong. We know what right and wrong is. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday, talked about the difference between coming from a place of fear and in that parking lot hitting somebody's car example, that's fear. I'm afraid of the repercussions. I'm afraid my insurance is going to go up. I'm afraid of having to face this person and tell them, hey, I made a mistake. Things that don't really get easier as you get older. We want our children to grow up to be good. Right. I think that's a good place to end it. Just came back and told me I was live for the last 16 minutes. Who knows? All right. I need to go take a hot shower. I promise. I feel fine. I look terrible. I sound worse. Oh, man. All right. Subscribe, turn on notifications, tell people about this show, ask questions, leave comments, support the show. Go check out our stuff's on Amazon. You can contribute to the Patreon at patreon.com/whistlekick. I got to go figure out what we're doing for an episode for 483 this morning. What happened? And go from there. All right. Excuse me. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care. Peace.